Is Engineer Mirza Asif Baigh, Vice President of NESPOC and Chief Executive of Mohammed Dam Project. Please, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for inviting me and giving me this opportunity of talking to these distinguished professionals. My presentation basically is checking on the history that how our reservoirs have helped us develop economically, how we have developed, how we have reaped irrigation benefits, hydropower benefits, and how our reservoirs flood control. It's a renewable energy, and you see this energy we are getting without any fuel. So that is a very important aspect of this energy. This energy is we are using water, and we are using head, and we are using storage, and we are getting more water for irrigation from the reservoirs. We are getting more water for hydropower generation through the reservoirs. Run of the river projects, we are using water and head only. We are not using storage, but the impact on us it's very significant. So my presentation would also be showing that how stable our water resources are, how consistent we can get our water with water. You see, there are year-to-year variations. There are variations in our water supply, seasonal variations. But overall, in the long-term period, whether we are getting something sustained as water resource or not. So I'll be showing in this presentation. Please, next. So these are general observations and Pakistan's water systems, reservoirs for irrigation and agriculture, hydropower generation, and flood control, and then my conclusions. Next. Why we need storage? We need storage because we have variation in the water supply. We have high water flows during the summer season. We have low water flows during the winter season. And we need more water in the winter season, so we can store water in the high flow season and release it for our requirements during the low flow season. So surplus flows which are available in summer season are utilized through the reservoirs, through the irrigation system for meeting our water requirements. And the high dams, we build high dams for creating big storages, and that afford us head of water, which is then converted to hydropower. So we get storages and then use these storages. While we store water, then this water is coming to us in various flood events as well. So while in the filling process of the reservoir, so many of the floods are absorbed in the reservoir. So that affords us flood benefits. This is Pakistan. This is the Indus system. This is Kharan coastal basin. This is Kharan. Just a minute. The annual flows. The total annual flows we are getting is 134 to 137 million acre feet, and we have you know that because of our Indus Basin Treaty with India, we now have very little water coming from the eastern rivers. So most of our water is coming from the western rivers. So on the whole, from the western rivers, we are getting 134, 137 million acre feet. If the total water is considered of the Indus Basin, it is basically 170 million acre feet. So 33 million acre feet has been allocated to India through the Indus Water Treaty. But then because of this Indus Water Treaty, we have got reservoirs, big reservoirs. We have got Mangla, we have got Tarbela, we got a small reservoir in the form of Chashma. We got about I think 8 or 9 barrages. We got link canals, and those link canals. I think there was a previous version of the presentation which has been put over here. So they are just changing the version. ठीक है? You are familiar with this. You see the challenge of meeting the food requirements, challenge of meeting the power requirements are quite high requirements. When we got independence, our population was about 35 million. Now our population is 224 million, 225 million. We are going to be more than 350 million when it will be 2050. So this is quite a big challenge. And you see the reservoirs, the water which is coming from the reservoirs is say we 137 million acre feet. That is, so we are living with basically with this 137 million acre feet, plus of course the water we are getting from rainfall, plus water which we are getting from downstream of the rim stations. There's some water also we are generating downstream of the rim stations. For example, our on Jhelum, our rim station is Mangla, but we have Kunha River downstream, we have Bunha River downstream, we have Suketar Nala downstream. So these small contributions are also coming in. Similarly, on the Indus, our rim station is Kalabak. But you see, we have downstream Kuram River and DG Khan Hill torrents and DI Khan Hill torrents. Those hill torrents are coming there. Then Suleiman Range hill torrents or Kirthar Range hill torrents also contributing to our system. So, but those are more sort of uncertain flows which are coming through. They're coming in the form of floods generally, and the low flows are less. So not that useful, but of course, what we are getting from our river system, Indus, Jhelum, Chenab, those are very useful flows, and those are consistent and persistent, and we are getting every year. So uncertainty on those flows is very, very, very low. This is the graph. You see, this is showing the inflows we are getting from 1922 to 2022. And you see, this is the just a minute. ये वाला
पॉइंटर के लिए लेजर के लिए
कौन से वाला?
ये ऊपर वाला लेजर
ये नीचे कौन से वाला?
वोट आप लेने और आप स्लाइड को आगे करना।
एनुअल विड्रॉल्स नहीं, ये ऊपर करना है। ऊपर वाला ये वाला?
हाँ जी, ये पिक्चर नहीं है।
आप बोर्ड उसको देंगे अपेक्षा।
अच्छा
वो प्रिंट करने के
चलें, ये जरा आप आगे पीछे कर दें। अब नीचे आ जाएं, इसे ऊपर करें, ऊपर करें। Yes. Yes. Okay. Over here. So the green line you see is basically the average line. And you see the dark blue line which is there, it is 30 years moving average. And you see this 30-year moving average very close, hugs very closely, sometimes goes somewhat up, then comes somewhat down, then hugs this green line, then again up, and then again down. So basically this shows that the consistency with which we are getting our flows. So of course, year-to-year variations are there, but the system is providing us flows very consistently. This is Indus flows, Kalabagh plus Mangla plus Marala. So this is the overall, the water flow we are getting. Next, please. Same is the story of the only Indus. That was total Indus system. It was the Indus. Again, the undulation. Sometimes we get higher flows and sometimes then, but the overall the consistency, 30-year average is very consistent. Next, please. Jhelum flows. Same thing. Chenab flows. So this is the flow story. Now, how the storages have and the diversions have helped us. You see, this is the annual withdrawals starting from 1941-42. This is consistently increasing. You see, with Kotri, with Mangla, with Tarbela. So quite a big increase starting from 60 billion acre feet to more than 100. In some period, of course, it is, you can say, approaching 110 million acre feet as well. But then declining also, somewhat declining. Yes, next, please. So this is with respect to the provinces, how the provinces have benefited from these storages. Increase. Next, please. Sindh. It seems that Sindh has benefited more than Punjab. The increase is higher. Next, please. Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. It is even higher. So smaller provinces have benefited quite a lot from these storages. Next, please. Balochistan. So impact of storages as far as the irrigation withdrawals. Irrigation withdrawals, you know that this is again directly connected with the food production. So this is how withdrawals, the storages have helped us in increasing our irrigation withdrawals. Next, please. So the historic withdrawals, Indus system, Kharif and Rabi and annual totals. So we are quite close to, you see that as per water accord, we wanted to have about, I think, say 110 million acre feet as withdrawals from the 137 inflows. The groundwater also is there. The groundwater is also basically is included in this 106 or 110 because all the groundwater which is coming to us is coming from getting water from the surface water and it is getting stored in the groundwater reservoir. But the significance is very high. I think this is 42 million acre feet, maybe 40 million acre feet or 50 million acre feet is being supplied from the surface water. So the order of magnitude, this is the reservoir which is just below the feet of the farmer. And it can use it whenever required. So all the deficiencies, whenever there are deficiencies, so this is a reservoir which is available for the farmer, So, but you see, there are issues of overutilization, and the farmers are using more than what is being recharged. This is again a question over here that what is the interaction, how the surface water and the groundwater should interact to give us the maximum benefits. You see, if we line our all our system, then what will happen? Only the recharge would be from the fields. But whether that is going to be helpful for us or not, because you see the recharge of the groundwater would reduce. And that facility of groundwater reservoir, we will not be using to the optimum our groundwater reservoir. So there is a requirement of establishing a balance which gives us the maximum benefit. So the optimization of this interaction is also one thing which is required to be determined. Next, please. This is just showing that our irrigation system, what demands we are there, or what are the supplies which are being given to the irrigation system. So this line, the below line, this what we will call a mauve line or the orange line, and the blue line is the inflows. So over there, the high magnitude inflows are there and being stored over there, and we are getting feeding our canal system to their capacities in this period, and then subsequently supplementing the flows which are coming to us. So this is generally the 1991-2001 average values. 106 million acre feet is the diversions to the canals. Next, please. This happened in the lowest year. You see 93 million acre feet we got, and only diversion was about 90 million acre feet. Next, please. So in agriculture output, Pakistan, you see over there is the billions of dollars which is being produced. You see that Mangla came, Tarbela came, and then the increase in the agriculture production is quite sharp. I have not plotted it against the population, but if you know that in this period our growth rate was about 3%, and this is about, on the average, you see more than 4%. So our agriculture production has exceeded our population growth rate. And you see, we are not only importer of the food products, but we are exporters of the food products. We are exporters of rice. We are exporter of cotton. We are exporters of fruits, mangoes, oranges. Those are the prominent things. So Pakistan has fared quite well in utilizing its water resources and meeting its very rapidly growing population demands, And this is also one important element in it is the storage, which is which has been made available. And you see, Dr. Mansoor Hashmi has shown that the wintertime cropping requirements are maybe less than even half the water requirements of the summer season, of the Kharif season. So over there, we are using groundwater, we are using our stored water from the surface reservoirs, and increasing our agriculture area to the extent that it is the more than the Kharif season area. And you see, the farmers are not only using 2 crop systems. It is sometimes 3 crop systems. They are repeatedly using fodder, then again fodder, then again fodder. So 3 crops. So that is how the farmer is behaving. So we have this, that this is the sources from this curve is total agriculture output is the sum of livestock and crop products, source economic research service USDA. So that is. So they have, I think, evaluated it on 2015 value of the dollar. So all inflation and everything is accounted for in this graph. Next, please. This is how Mangla increased. This is how then Tarbela increased. This is how then Ghazi Badotha increased. This is how then Tarbela extension 4 increased. Then now happening is Tarbela extension 5. Then in service, then under construction, and then proposed. So this is a significant input of our reservoirs and our hydropower, run-of-the-river projects as well in our power supply. Next, please. Okay. This is historic share of fuel and energy and total energy generation. You see, this is somehow fuels, carbon fuels, that is fossil fuels which are being used for power generation. And you see, this is percentage. This is in percentage terms. So basically, what is happening over here when we have this conversion into thermal, so we are basically increasing our with the increase of the fuel price, we are increasing our imports. We are increasing our expenditure. We are increasing the cost of the electricity which we are supplying to the consumers, industrialists as well as the home users. So this is one thing which is, this definitely has this thermal power project has one advantage. You can put in a big thermal power projects maybe in 3 years time, but the gestation period of the hydel projects is very long, maybe 15 years, maybe 20 years, in some cases more than that. But what is happening is that fuel price fluctuates like this: $70 at one point in time and $140 another point in time. So these are big jerks. Our type of economy, it is difficult to absorb these jerks. So recently it has happened, you see, that again one increase of the energy price because of what? Because of fuel price increase, and then another increase, then another increase. The increases are not stopping, you see. This is affecting the total population, you see. All of the energy consumers, this is happening. So the best thing is, the best policy would be to go to renewable, so that you see import is not required. The expenditure does not double over 6 months. So that is important. Next, please. This is, I think, has been shown many times. So hydel is 24%, and renewable is a small part. Renewable is excluding hydel. Hydel is as well, but this renewable is mainly, I think, referring to solar and wind. Next, please. This is very important. See how our devaluation of Pak rupee has occurred. Very sharp is this, and this has happened because of what? Because if you see that the trade balance has gone down. We are negative in trade balance. We were quite close to zero up to say 2000, and subsequently sharply gone down. And because we have a huge trade balance and our currency is sliding down. So net effect is on the consumers. That effect is on the consumers. So giving really bad, you see, maybe 5 years before we were $1,500 per capita income. Now maybe it is 1,300 because of what? Your productivity has not decreased, but your value in terms of dollars has decreased because you see your currency has fallen. And the currency fall is because of this mismanagement where we are investing. So basically, this is very important as well, that this renewable energy, hydro energy, the solar energy, wind energy, these are where you import fuel oil from outside, or you work on the extraction of fuel in your own country. Somehow the imports should be replaced. So I think that should be one of the major government policies regarding this. And in this context, of course, hydel is should be one of the priorities. Maybe the solar would rank the highest, but then hydel. Next, please. Okay. Okay. This is how floods are affected. We get relief of floods. You see, Pakistan has been hit by floods. Floods are very important as far as the damage prevention is concerned. So our reservoirs give us this advantage that we can, this is 2000 flood, Tarbela attenuation. You see, if had there been better managers, you see this attenuation would have been even better. So this is also one aspect for our engineers and for our managers to see how we can improve our performance. Our performance is then reflected actually in saving the lives and the property of our countrymen. It is so we are doing something. We are these water resources. We are doing something very important. We are dealing with food generation. We are dealing with flood prevention. We are dealing with energy generation. Very, very important things. So for the students, it is they should know that it's a high significance profession we are doing. Next, please. This is another 2014 Mangla. What happened? And you would see that this is not a very good management which has been done. Water was, this blue line is inflow. Water was coming and there's no flat green line is going. No operator is not releasing water, and then immediately it starts releasing water. So had there been better management, you see, instead of this small attenuation, we would have managed much better. Maybe double this amount of attenuation, we would have better. So that is also reflective of what we are doing, how good or how bad we are managing our resources. But definitely we are getting benefits. Another, please. Yes, just a minute. This is maybe the last. This is the frequency analysis done for the what are the outflows from the Mangla reservoir. So without them is the top one, and then the move one is the actually what happened. Maybe it would be little bit more. Good fit would be little bit more, which is given in this figure. So you see that consistently you get lesser outflows. So this is persistently your floods which are spilling downstream are smaller in. So the reservoir function is very much dominant over here. But if you see this is the line which if you implemented your SOPs nicely, so you would have reduced by this much. So flood threat reduced significantly, more than 50%. Next one, please. You see, so dam with flood forecast, dam without flood forecast, and this is, you see the percentage, come to the last column. So if with flood forecast you manage things, then you reduce by about 55% your flood peaks. So this is a good management, but this is the management without flood forecast. And even that in some cases is 50% and some cases 70%, some cases 30%, 20%, something like that. So that is the overall our story, how we fared in managing our water resources. But one thing is very clear, reservoirs have played their role. We have got very consistent water resources available to us, and we have got surface reservoirs, we have got groundwater reservoirs. Our food production for 7 times the population, it has been mostly met with our agriculture product. So basically challenges are, because we are moving from 240 million to say 350 million, more reservoirs are required, and good management of our system, or better management of our system is required. Thank you very much.
जो आपने डाटा प्रोड्यूस किया है मंगला रिजर्वायर के बारे में, उसमें 92 के फ्लड को आपने काउंट किया उसमें?
92 का फ्लड एज सच फ्लड के तौर पे तो नहीं दिखाया, लेकिन 92 का डाटा जो है एनुअल का, वो उसमें शामिल है। तो जी, जो ग्राफ दिखाया आपको, जी जी जी, वो जो हिस्टोग्राम्स हैं, उन हिस्टोग्राम्स में 92 इंक्लूडेड है। ये तकरीबन 2012-13 तक का है। I couldn't get time to get more data collected and make it up to date, but 2012-13 was the data available and which has been shown over here.
मेरा एक कॉमन सवाल तमाम स्पीकर से ये रहा है, क्योंकि मैं इरिगेशन डिपार्टमेंट में एज काम करता रहा हूँ, तो मेरा ये व्यू पॉइंट है कि रिजर्वायर बनाना बहुत ज़रूरी है और हमारी ये सर्वाइवल है। खासकर इन फ्यूचर, जैसे आप फरमा रहे थे, हमें वाटर की शॉर्टेज को फेस करना पड़ेगा अगर हम प्रॉपर स्टोरेज का अरेंजमेंट नहीं करते। लेकिन मेरा ये व्यू पॉइंट है कि स्टोरेज के साथ अगर कैनाल की फैसिलिटी ना हो तो वो स्टोरेज जो है वो इतना ज़्यादा बेनिफिशियल नहीं होता। तो व्हाट डू यू स्पीक कि भाई आया कि कैनाल साथ यहाँ पर जिन रिजर्वायर साथ हम कैनाल बना सकते हैं उनके ऊपर पहले काम नहीं करना चाहिए। और इससे बढ़कर मेरा ये कमेंट है कि भाई इस डैम्स बनाने के लिए और इन सिस्टम को करने के लिए सूबों में और लोगों में उनके माइंड को बनाना बड़ा जरूरी है। क्योंकि मैंने भी ट्रैवल किया है अक्रॉस द पाकिस्तान और मैंने ये देखा है कि रेस्ट ऑफ दी ओवर ब्रदर प्रोविंसेस जो हैं वो इनके इतने फेवर में नहीं है। तो इस पे जरा आप फरमाइएगा कि हमें क्या करना चाहिए और रिजर्वायर की अफादियत कैनाल की फैसिलिटी के साथ ज्यादा नहीं होगी एज कंपेयर टू दी जस्ट फॉर एनर्जी प्रोडक्शन एंड ऑल दी अदर फैसिलिटीज। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
देखें, जो हमारे पास वाटर रिसोर्सेज हैं उसके हिसाब से अभी की रिजर्वायर्स हैं। रिजर्वायर्स में एक प्रॉब्लम हमारे साथ है कि रिजर्वायर्स डिप्लीट करती हैं विद द पैसेज ऑफ टाइम ड्यू टू सेडिमेंटेशन। तो इन एनी केस रिप्लेसमेंट रिक्वायर्ड है कि चलें उसको एटलीस्ट मेंटेन किया जाए। बट एज फार एज कैनाल्स आर कंसर्न्ड, हमारा जो कैनाल सिस्टम है ये ओरिजिनली डिजाइन हुआ था 70% क्रॉपिंग इंटेंसिटी के ऊपर। ठीक, अभी एट दिस टाइम इन पॉइंट इन टाइम हमारी क्रॉपिंग इंटेंसिटी जो है ना 140% से ऊपर है। ठीक है, इन सम केसेस जैसे हाशमी साहब ने बताया कि 200% से भी ऊपर है। ठीक, तो इसका मतलब ये है कि हम जो ग्राउंड वाटर का इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं, ग्राउंड वाटर का जो रिजर्वायर है हमारे पास वो बहुत बड़ा रिजर्वायर है और हम उसको इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं और उसको कर रहे हैं यानी अपनी एग्रीकल्चर प्रोडक्शन को एनहांस करने के लिए। इसके ऊपर मेरा कमेंट सिर्फ ये है कि एक गुड बैलेंस डिटरमिन करने की ज़रूरत है कि कितना पानी हम सरफेस वाटर से डाइवर्ट करें कि और कितना हम अपने सिस्टम को लाइन करें ताकि हमारा जो ग्राउंड वाटर का रिजर्वायर है वो प्रॉपरली रिचार्ज रहे और वो जो रिचार्ज है उसको हम फार्मर इस्तेमाल करें एज एंड व्हेन रिक्वायर्ड।
इसमें मेरा ये कमेंट है कि जैसे स्पीकर फरमा रहे थे कि भाई ग्राउंड वाटर का एक सोर्स होता है, सरफेस से वो रिचार्ज होता है, तो हम ये देखते हैं कि वो एरियाज जो कि रावी और सतलुज पे बेस करते थे, इनमें तो अब ड्राई सिचुएशन रहती है ऑल द टाइम, और हम ज्यादातर फिर इस एरिया में गो हमारे पास कुछ इरिगेशन है लेकिन हम उसकी फुलफिलमेंट पूरी नहीं कर सकते, तो हम ज्यादा फिर रिलायंस ग्राउंड वाटर पे करते हैं। तो ग्राउंड वाटर की डिप्लीशन जो वो भी बड़ी अलार्मिंग सिचुएशन में है। इसमें जो अगर हम ज्यादा ये कहें कि हम इसी पे डिपेंड करेंगे तो वो जो ग्राउंड वाटर इन एरियाज में है वो भी अब अलार्मिंग सिचुएशन पे ड्रॉप कर रहा है। तो इसलिए कुछ हमें इस बारे में और सोचना पड़ेगा।
अभी जो आपको हाशमी साहब ने एक स्टडी दिखाई थी ना, उसका एक दो चीजें मेरे ख्याल है हाशमी साहब ने आपको नहीं दिखाई। वो आपको कैनाल कमांड्स का वो दिखाते ना स्पेशल व्यू, कि जिसमें कौन सी कैनाल कमांड्स हैं जहां पे जो है ना वो रिचार्ज ना पॉजिटिव है, वाटर लेवल ऊपर आ रहा है, और कौन सी कैनाल कमांड्स हैं कि जहां पे डेफिशिएंसी है। तो मेरा ख्याल है ज्यादा जो है ना वो एम्फेसिस इस स्टडी के रिजल्ट्स की ना इम्प्लीमेंटेशन के ऊपर होना चाहिए। जहां पे एलोकेशन ज्यादा हो गई हैं वहां पे जो है उनको रीजनेबल लेवल पे लाया जाए, और जहां पे कम है वहां पे जो है ज्यादा पानी दिया जाए। मैप्स आपके पास जो है ना उस रिपोर्ट में लगे हुए। हाँ जी जी, थैंक यू वेरी मच, बहुत शुक्रिया।
Thank you very much, sir, for sharing your valuable knowledge with